What's up, guys? Of Daggers and Darkness. Now, quite often I don't show videos in the sense that I won't show like news reports. When like stuff was going on, I didn't show the news clips to it. But it's kind of come to my attention today on Today Tonight Adelaide that they did this video segment about customs and how they're protecting Australia. And we'll put the protecting Australia. Now, in the video, they talked about illegal firearms, drugs, weapons, imitation firearms, and other contraband, basically trying to come through the post and being seized, which is, perfectly fine. That's what Customs does. And they decided to show the SKD Glock, which I've got here, and they compared it to a real Glock, and they were showing, they called it their 7-Eleven test, their service station test. They said, anything is an imitation firearm if it passes their quote-unquote 7-Eleven test. Now, I'm going to have the video directly after this to show you what I mean, but basically their version of the 7-Eleven test is if it could be used to hold up a 7-Eleven, then we better not have it in Australia. So guys, I'm going to show you the clip, and then I'm going to go through my thoughts about it and just how ridiculous it is.
Good idea. Thank you very much, John. Good evening to you and welcome to the program. We'll begin tonight with the men and women protecting our borders. Now, you might not think South Australia is a hotbed for illegal trade, but every day criminal gangs attempt to import drugs and weapons. Standing in their way, though, are Australian Border Force officers who allowed our cameras to film their crucial work. Stephanie Piccone has our story.
This one here says it's a makeup brush, but we know it's not a makeup brush.
And stop that. Looks like a gun. It is a gun.
I think the average civilian sitting at home would be very surprised, yes.
With this particular haul, we actually found 546 kilos in a container of misdeclared tobacco.
It's definitely not a makeup brush.
From the air to the sea, criminal gangs will do whatever it takes to get illegal goods into the country.
So this firearm part would be considered for say an M4 Armalite or an AR-15. These are real parts. This is a good find.
But in their way, Australian Border Force officers like Scott McMahon and Lachlan Jones, who will stop at nothing to keep South Australia safe.
It can be the most innocent-looking person.
Given the amount of intelligence sharing that the law enforcement agencies have in Australia, that criminal entities would still have the guts to import this. Yeah, it is quite scary.
And what they find on a daily basis will shock you.
We're obviously at a cargo depot inspecting consignments that have arrived via Singapore but originated from Hong Kong. Utilising the mobile X-ray unit we have over here, we've identified what appears to be a firearm.
Every day, tens of thousands of items are screened and processed through mail sorting facilities like this one in Bowden. And it doesn't take long before dangerous items are detected.
This looks like an extendable baton to me.
So these consignments that we've put to the side here, we've recently found in the past half hour, consignments that may contain either firearms or weapons.
What you can see here is a imitation firearm. They're all operational, but they're still an imitation firearm. If it looks like the part, then it is the part.
Civilians wouldn't be able to differentiate between a legitimate firearm or a replica, and obviously we refer to what we call the 7-Eleven test. If you could use it to hold up a petrol station, then we obviously would seize it.
So far this year, Australian Border Force officers have seized and disposed of more than 350 firearms and weapons.
So I've been for about 2.5 years, and I enjoy the wide range of things that we get to do, especially being the mobile deployment team. We get to operate in a bunch of different areas, being aviation, maritime, air cargo, a container examination facility. Today is about 289 people coming through. We have a chat to them when they come through the primary line.
But such an important job, like keeping our country safe, sometimes requires help. And 4-year-old Maverick is an expert when it comes to sniffing out crime.
People are usually quite honest. However, there is that small percentage of people that we are assessing and looking for to make sure we keep the border safe here.
From the airport to the port,
The average morning, obviously we'll start generally anywhere from about 4 in the morning, make our way to the airport and conduct assessment and response taskings, searching and assessing passengers and their baggage. We'll then make our way to the various cargo depots, and then in the afternoon we might make our way to the maritime, inspect some vessels and question the master in regards to the crew members.
When it comes to tobacco, we often see tobacco on a weekly basis come through. It comes through our air and sea environments by container loads.
So far this year, more than 7 tonnes of tobacco has been confiscated and destroyed. Then there are the more unusual items.
Definitely jump in, get involved, put your hand up for things. Opportunities come when you present yourself and you put yourself in a positive manner and ready to take a challenge.
And if you're interested in a career as a Border Force officer, we can tell you there will be a large nationwide recruitment drive that's later this year, and all the details are on our website. Stephanie Piccone with that story.
So guys, you've clearly just seen the clip. It's like 2 to 3 minutes. And what pisses me off is they say they have this 7-Eleven ideology about imitation and replica firearms, even though the gel blasters are completely perfect to own. The process I go through to purchase one, if it is out of Australian shores, if it's not in Australia, I purchase it. I send a photo of the toy to SAPOL Firearm Divisions, get a B709A clearance, which I'm perfectly legal to do. Then I go through, send the tracking number to customs with my confirmed paperwork that allows me to have it imported into Australia. They then get my parcel when it comes through Australian shores. They pick it up, they take it down to the Port Adelaide office, and I collect it. A little bit of work, but it's not illegal to own. So for them to try and portray this as being a weapon or being misused to hold up 7-Elevens and service stations, and to fearmonger the general public thinking that everyone is going to have to now watch their backs if these toys are allowed in Australia because people are going to use them to intimidate and to steal and to rob, is completely ridiculous. I also have a foam LARPing bat from The Walking Dead, Negan's Lucille, bloodied version. I could take that into a 7-Eleven and threaten someone, and in the heat of the moment, they might think that's a real baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. I could also take the $2 computer screwdriver I have, even though it being small, I mean, it's compact, perfectly hide in my pocket. I could pull this out, push it against the guy's neck, and tell me to give all the money, or I'm just going to ram it through his neck. Now, I'm not threatening anyone, but the whole idea that they think this toy gun, and I do understand the concept they're trying to go with, that yes, it could be used to intimidate someone. You can use this to intimidate someone. You get this from a hardware store. You get this from, Coles and Woolworths and Foodland. You can buy toolkits there. A toy bat could be perceived as a real bat and weapon in the heat of the moment. Saying this 7-Eleven kind of like ideology that it's a rule they go with to consider imitation or replica firearms being illegal, even though, like I said before, this is perfectly legal to own and perfectly legal to import. You just have to do a little bit of paperwork, which you just have to email them your basic information and they do all the typing and print the shit to you and send it to you, which is ridiculously easy in the long term, is ridiculous. It is a fear-mongering tactic that they're going to use for parents to freak out, going, oh my God, they're going to think this is a real gun, they're going to get in trouble. Yes, if you run down the street, someone will call the cops because they think it's real. You probably will get a warning and maybe a fine because, yes, you're scaring the public. But common sense prevails with 99% of gel softers. We're common sense. We put up signs. We play in non-overly populated public areas and even private properties like Waterloo and in Queensland, Danny-Brooklyn, Nuketown. They all do the right thing. We do the right thing by the public to make sure there is little to no effect that we are harassing, scaring and intimidating. We do a lot to make sure that we can keep our hobby alive. And today tonight, Adelaide has decided to try and throw this in. And it was a sneaky little, oh yeah, let's just compare this to a real Glock. It's ridiculous, it's wrong, and I personally now do not like Today Tonight. I've seen it with The Current Affair, I've seen it with 9 News, they've all done it, I've finally stepped up to the ball. I'm going to like I said, you've seen the clip. Guys, I can't stand for this, it's just blatant ridiculousness. Our customs office is blatantly ridiculous when you can, if you have the paperwork for this and they destroy it, even if you have the paperwork, That is wrong. And they probably do that. They probably destroy it and be like, oh yeah, it was just, oh, you know, the custom officer deemed it as imitation. But I have the paperwork to prove that I'm allowed to own that. It is completely wrong, completely unjustified, and ridiculous. So guys, tell me what you think in the comment section below. Tell me if you've seen this on Facebook. If your specific areas like Queensland and like Victoria have done articles like this, tell me what you think, guys. Don't forget to head over to Instagram, of course, of Daggers and Darkness. And, you know, hit me up if you get any questions. Don't forget to leave a like and a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're new. Turn the notification button on, because then you'll be kept up to date with all the good notifications. And just remember, guys, a screwdriver is also a weapon. This is not a weapon. You can't really hit someone with it. You can intimidate someone, but you can intimidate someone with a bloody screwdriver. So I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out. Have a good one. Tell me what you think. And hopefully this shitstorm blows over.